Spaces. So good to have you all with us again.
Oh.
As always, we're diving deep into the world of Vaastu Shastra.
Yes.
And you know what? This is our 9th episode.
Wow.
We're on our way to a big celebration.
Absolutely.
But before we get to the modaks and the dayas and all the fun stuff,
Right.
let's talk about how we actually create those harmonious spaces where we can celebrate.
Yes. Yes.
And for that, we have to give a big shout out to our friends at SOS Realty.
Of course. Of course.
You know, they're not your typical real estate folks. They're like, I don't know, the energy whisperers of the real estate world.
Chuckles. I like that. I like that.
They really understand that a house, it's not just about, walls and a roof.
Right.
It's about aligning with the energies around us
Yes.
to create spaces where we can really thrive.
Absolutely.
So if you're looking for that dream home, or even just want to, make your current space a little bit more harmonious, check out SOS Realty.
Yes. Yes.
You can find them on LinkedIn.
Great people.
And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button
Yes. Subscribe.
so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming episodes.
Definitely.
Now today, we're talking about the shape and structure of our spaces, extensions and cuts.
Oh, interesting.
It's fascinating how even like small additions or missing corners
Right.
can really impact the energy flow of a property.
Absolutely. You see, in Vaastu Shastra, we believe that energy flows through a space, much like prana in our bodies.
Okay.
It needs to circulate freely for balance and harmony.
Yeah.
Think of it like a perfectly choreographed Bollywood dance number.
Ooh, I like that.
Everything has its place, everyone has their role, and the energy just flows beautifully.
So when we're talking about extensions and cuts, are we like messing up the choreography?
Yeah, in a way, you see, the ideal shape for a property, according to Vastu, is a square or a rectangle.
Okay.
It allows for this, balanced distribution of energy in all directions.
Okay. Yeah.
But when we add extensions or have missing corners, we're kind of altering this balance, and that can impact different aspects of our lives.
Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. What exactly do we mean by extensions and cuts? And can you give us some examples?
Certainly. Imagine one of those beautiful Havelis in Udaipur
Oh, lovely.
with, the beautiful courtyard in the center.
Yes.
Now, an extension would be like adding a new wing to that Haveli, right?
Right.
Extending its boundaries.
Like a balcony overlooking the lake.
Exactly. Or maybe an extra room for guests.
Okay.
A cut, on the other hand, would be like a section of that Haveli being missing. Perhaps, a corner of that courtyard was sacrificed to widen a road.
So it's like someone took a bite out of our samosa.
Chuckles. Well, you could say that.
Not ideal, I'm guessing?
Not exactly ideal from a Vastu perspective. You see, each direction in Vastu holds specific energies related to different aspects of our lives.
Right.
And, extensions and cuts in certain directions can either enhance or disrupt these energies.
Okay, so what kind of impact are we talking about? Can these extensions and cuts really affect things like, our health or relationships or even our finances?
Well, Vastu does believe that these structural imbalances can create subtle energy shifts that can manifest in our lives.
Right.
Take, for example, the northeast direction,
Okay.
or Ishanya, as it's known in Vastu.
Ishanya.
This direction governs spiritual growth, wealth, and overall well-being. It's considered the head of the house.
The head of the house.
Where the energy of prosperity flows in.
Okay.
So that's a very important direction.
So what happens if we have an extension in the northeast? Does that mean like more prosperity?
Well, it could. Extensions in the northeast are generally seen as favorable.
Okay.
It's like, expanding the entryway for positive energy to flow into your life.
Oh, I like that.
Like adding an extra lane on the highway to success.
Okay, that sounds good. But what about cuts in the northeast? Is that bad?
Cuts in the northeast are considered particularly inauspicious in Vastu. Oh, no.
They can disrupt the flow of positive energy that's essential for, attracting wealth and health and overall prosperity.
So northeast, extensions good, cuts bad. Got it. What about other directions? I mean, they must play a role too, right?
They certainly do, although their impact might be felt in different areas of life.
Okay.
For instance, let's move on to the southeast, or Agnya, the realm of fire and energy.
Interesting.
This direction is all about dynamism, passion, and that spark that keeps things moving.
Okay, so would an extension in the southeast bring in more of that fire energy?
Well, extensions in the southeast do need to be approached with caution. It's a powerful direction, and too much extension here can create an imbalance. It's like adding too much chili to your biryani.
Chuckles. Oh, I know that feeling.
It might be tasty at first, but it could lead to some discomfort later on.
So moderation is key in the southeast.
Yeah.
What about cuts in this area? Would that dampen the fire, so to speak? Precisely. Cuts in the southeast can disrupt the flow of energy, potentially leading to health issues, particularly those related to digestion and metabolism.
Okay, so southeast handle with care. Got it. Now, I'm curious about the southwest, or Nairucha. This direction, it seems to be all about stability and grounding. What happens when we mess with that?
The Southwest is indeed the foundation of the house, representing stability, relationships, and that sense of security we all crave.
Yeah.
Extensions in this direction are generally not recommended.
Okay.
It can destabilize the energy,
Oh.
leading to financial losses or relationship problems. It's like shaking the very foundation of your home, not a good idea.
So no building that extra guest room onto the southwest side of the house, no matter how much the in-laws visit.
It's best to avoid it if possible. Remember, Vaastu is all about working with the natural energies.
Right.
To create balance and harmony.
Yeah.
And a strong, undisturbed southwest is crucial for that foundation.
Makes sense. And what about cuts in the southwest? Would that, like, create cracks in the foundation?
It could, yes. Cuts in the southwest can weaken relationships, create financial instability, and just lead to a general sense of insecurity.
Oh.
It's like having an actual crack in the foundation of your home. It needs to be addressed.
Okay. Southwest, best left untouched. We have one direction left. The Northwest, or Vayavya, what's its role in all of this?
The Northwest is an interesting direction. It's associated with social connections, travel, helpful people, new opportunities.
Oh, nice.
Extensions in this direction can actually enhance these aspects of life, bringing in new connections, support.
Right.
Think of it as like opening the doors to a wider network, welcoming in those who can help you on your journey.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking to expand my social circle or attract some, helpful mentors, I should consider extending my house to the northwest.
It's a lovely way to think about it. Remember, Vaastu is about aligning our spaces with our intentions.
Yes.
If you're seeking to, expand your network and invite in support, enhancing the Northwest can certainly be beneficial.
Wonderful. But I imagine there's a flip side. As with everything else, what about cuts in the northwest? Would that close off those doors of opportunity?
You guessed it. Cuts in the Northwest can create stress, anxiety, and difficulties in relationships. It's like blocking the path of helpful people and opportunities from entering your life.
Wow, this is all so fascinating. It's amazing to see how each direction plays such a specific role, and how these extensions and cuts can really influence the energy of our homes.
It is truly fascinating. These ancient principles can really guide us in creating spaces that support our well-being.
Now, I know this is a lot to take in.
Yeah.
And our listeners might be wondering what to do if their property already has extensions or cuts. Is there any hope?
Absolutely. Vaastu offers a range of remedies to balance the energy flow, regardless of the existing structure.
Okay.
It's not about, tearing down walls or making drastic changes, but about working with what you have to harmonize the energies.
That's reassuring. So what are some of these remedies? Can we really fix these imbalances without, major renovations?
We certainly can. Vaastu is all about working with nature's energies.
Right.
And there are many ways to do that subtly and effectively.
Okay.
But before we dive into the fascinating world of Vaastu remedies, why don't we remind our listeners to subscribe to our channel so they don't miss any of the upcoming episodes? We'll be back in a jiffy to explore the magic of Vaastu remedies.
Sounds good. Welcome back to Harmonious Spaces.
Yes.
Now, before the break, we were talking about some fascinating stuff.
Right, we were.
Extensions and cuts.
Yes.
And how they can impact the energy of our spaces.
Yes, and we were just about to delve into Vaastu remedies.
Yes, the magic of Vaastu remedies.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Like those little tweaks that can transform a dish from good to absolutely divine.
Exactly. So let's say I have an extension in the southwest.
Okay.
Which we know isn't ideal.
Right.
Can I really fix that without, bulldozing part of my house?
You absolutely can. Remember, Vaastu works with energies.
Right.
And we can redirect and balance those energies
Okay.
without drastic measures. For extensions in the southwest, for instance, we can use heavy elements to ground the energy.
Right.
Think like large planters with sturdy plants,
Yeah.
stone sculptures, or even a water feature strategically placed to balance the excess energy.
So it's about adding elements that kind of represent the qualities that we want to enhance.
Exactly.
What about those dreaded cuts? Can those be remedied too?
Of course, of course.
Let's say, for example, there's a cut in the northeast,
Okay.
the direction of prosperity.
Yes.
Can we somehow, like, fill that space energetically?
We can indeed. For cuts in the northeast, we want to visually and energetically complete that missing space.
Okay.
Mirrors are a wonderful tool for this.
Mirrors.
They can create the illusion of completeness, reflecting the existing space and kind of filling the gap.
So it's like visually tricking the energy into flowing smoothly.
Pres-
That's clever. What about other remedies? I've heard about plants and yantras being used as well.
Yes, both plants and yantras are powerful tools in Vaastu.
Okay.
Plants with their vibrant life force can energize a space and fill it with, positive vibrations.
So like placing a lush money plant in the northeast corner to enhance prosperity.
Exactly.
What about yantras? Those seem a bit more, mystical.
Yantras are geometric diagrams that hold specific energy frequencies. They're like little antennas attracting and amplifying specific energies.
Interesting.
Placing a yantra associated with prosperity in that northeast cut
Yeah.
can help to restore that balance and attract abundance.
Wow, there's so much we can do
There is.
to work with the energy of our spaces. It's almost like having a whole toolbox of remedies.
It is. And the best part is that these remedies can be incorporated so beautifully into our homes,
Right.
enhancing both the energy and the aesthetics.
This is all so fascinating. It's empowering to know that we can take control of our spaces and create environments that truly support our well-being. But I'm sure some of our listeners might be feeling a bit overwhelmed. Where do they even begin?
I understand. It can feel like a lot to take in.
Yeah.
The key is to start with observation.
Okay.
Take a look at your own space, keeping the Vaastu principles in mind.
Okay.
Where are the extensions? Where are the cuts? How might they be impacting different areas of your life?
And if they're feeling stuck, they can always reach out to a Vaastu expert for personalized guidance.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, don't forget our friends at SOS Realty. They're not just real estate agents, they're like Vaastu matchmakers,
Chuckles.
helping you find spaces that align with your energies and aspirations. You can find them on LinkedIn. Just search for SOS Realty. They're a wealth of knowledge
Oh.
and can provide tailored solutions for creating harmonious spaces. Now, as we wrap up our deep dive into extensions and cuts, I want to leave you with this thought.
Your home is more than just a shelter. It's an extension of your energy field. By understanding and working with the principles of Vaastu, you can transform your space into a sanctuary
Yes.
that nourishes your soul and empowers you to live your best life.
Beautiful. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference. So observe your space, experiment with some remedies, and most importantly, have fun with it. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Harmonious Spaces. We'll see you next week as we continue to explore the fascinating world of Vaastu Shastra. Until then, may your spaces be filled with harmony and abundance. Please note that the information shared in this podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute professional advice. For personalized guidance, consult with a qualified Vaastu expert or a licensed professional in the relevant field.
Welcome back to Harmonious Spaces. I hope you've had a chance to think about your own spaces and maybe even spot some extensions or cuts that, might need a little Vaastu love.
It's always amazing what we discover when we start paying attention.
So let's talk about those remedies.
Because I think a lot of people might be, a little worried, like, oh no, do I have to, tear down a wall or renovate my entire house?
Not at all.
What can we actually do?
Remember, Vaastu is all about working with nature.
Right.
And there are so many subtle and effective ways to do that.
Okay.
Let's go back to that example of an extension in the Southwest.
Okay. Yeah.
Which we know can create some instability.
Yes.
One of the simplest ways to remedy this is by using heavy elements.
There's heavy elements of
to ground the energy.
So what do you mean by that?
Think about things like, Large planters with sturdy plants,
Okay.
stone sculptures, or even a water feature placed strategically
Right.
to kind of balance that excess energy.
So it's like you're kind of counteracting.
Exactly.
Okay, what about those cuts? We talked about how especially a cut in the Northeast can be a bit problematic.
Right.
Can those be remedied as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
For a cut in the Northeast, we want to create the feeling of completion, both visually and energetically. Mirrors can be incredibly powerful for this.
Mirrors, okay.
They create the illusion of that missing space being filled,
Oh, interesting.
reflecting the existing space and kind of tricking the energy.
So it's like a little visual trick for the energy.
You could say that, yes.
What about other remedies I've heard about plants and yantras?
Yes, both are wonderful tools in Vaastu.
Okay.
Plants with their vibrant life force, they can really energize a space and just fill it with these positive vibrations.
Like placing a money plant in the northeast corner to attract prosperity.
Exactly, a classic remedy.
And yantras, those are a bit more mystical, aren't they?
Yantras are these geometric diagrams that hold specific energy frequencies.
Okay.
They're like these, little antennas that attract and amplify specific energies. So placing a yantra that's associated with prosperity in that northeast cut can really help to restore balance.
Wow, there really is so much we can do.
There is.
It's almost like having a whole toolbox.
It is.
Full of
And
remedies.
the best part is, these remedies can be incorporated so beautifully into our homes.
Right.
They enhance the energy and the aesthetics.
This has been so fascinating. It really is empowering to know that we can take control of our spaces.
Yes.
And create environments that truly support us.
Absolutely.
But where should our listeners even begin? I mean, this is a lot of information.
The best place to start is always with observation.
Right.
Take a look around your own home. Keeping these Vaastu principles in mind.
Yes.
See where the extensions and cuts are and how they might be impacting, different areas of your life.
And if they're feeling lost or overwhelmed, they can always reach out to a Vaastu expert.
Absolutely, for personalized guidance.
Speaking of experts, let's not forget our friends at SOS Realty.
Of course.
They're amazing. They really understand these principles.
Yes, they do.
They can help you find a space that aligns with your energies and aspirations. You can find them on LinkedIn. Just search for SOS Realty. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought.
Your home is more than just a shelter. It's an extension of you. By understanding and working with the principles of Vaastu, you can transform your space into a sanctuary that nourishes your soul and empowers you to live your best life.
Beautiful.
It is.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
On this Harmonious Spaces journey. We'll be back next week with more Vaastu wisdom. Until then, may your spaces be filled with harmony and abundance. Remember, the information shared in this podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute professional advice. For personalized guidance, consult with a qualified Vaastu expert or a licensed professional in the relevant field.